Kadosh Boker Or Bekiim Bahalacha 4, day 39. Siman Kafei, page 100. Yeah, 100. So it says Ilalacha Ain Chet 78. Okay, we're talking about now during Kaddish. So it says Anashim Shenogim Lekapel Talit Utfilin Lanicham Betikam Be'et Amidat Kaddish. People come and they take off the tefillin and the talit and they start wrapping it up during the Kaddish. Right? Lo yafeh mosim. They're not doing it properly. Which one? Any Kaddish. They're not doing it properly. Why? Because you have to be mechaven ba'amirat yamen yesh shemerabah. And amen yesh shemerabah od b'madrega gavoy. It's more than kedusha. Lo. Afilu shomim et Kaddish. Even afilu yoter garuah. The truth is, I did see you somebody once. They were saying the Kaddish and taking off the tefillin. It's a busha v'cherpa. But even if they're not the ones saying it, you're just listening. So you stop, answer the Kaddish, and then when you finish the Kaddish, yeah, that's what we learned yesterday already. That is al-Kadosh. That there's a special aura when a person has a talit and tefillin on his head during the Alel Shevach. He has to finish until he finishes the entire Kene Kavalach. That's all the Shefa. You know that the Rav Zavichi wrote a sefer of Elenu L'Shabeach. I heard somebody gave the Zahav for it. Yeah. So what happened was. מה? ודאי, הוא היה. זה היה מתי שחסרה, היה חסרה.
אני קולט הרב מבליט את המילה,
זה היה.
מה היה? משהו עם זהב.
כל הזהב. So what happened is that and Rav Zavichi wrote in the Sefer Alenu Shabeach there is the entire concept of the greatness, right, of the Alenu Shabeach, an entire book. Imagine an entire Sefer on Alenu Shabeach. Now they came out with it in art school, but beforehand Rav Zavichi already wrote a book on Alenu Shabeach, the greatness of Alenu Shabeach and all the halachot pertaining to Alenu Shabeach. So just stam, a person could come and just do all these things. He has to be careful. It's more important than Kiddusha Menish Merabah. Meaning, in the middle of Kiddusha, would you take off your talit tefillin? Right? So no. So Menish Merabah is even greater than that. What did you want us? So it says in the footnote, 101. Yeah, Kimispar Michael, you listening? 101. He says, engaging in activities, right, while reciting blessings or Kaddish. The Mishnah Berurah added that the response to the Kaddish is at least as exalted as the moment of saying a blessing, a bracha. Magen Avraham ruled that it is absolutely forbidden to engage in even minimal activity when you're making a bracha. Imagine right now you're doing shakol niya bidvaro, right? And you're coming and you're doing another 100 things. Well, you're blessing Hashem. What now shakol niya bidvaro? And you're running around and doing a whole bunch of things. Understand? Playing tennis. No. Yeah. So he says, right? You're not allowed to. The Yalkut Yosef and Berachot, he actually says the Taz and other Achronim warning against activity during saying a bracha. They included such behavior in the category of Yim Telchui Mi Bekedi. Yalkut Yosef says that it's incorrect to castigize those who permit themselves to wrap up the tefillin during Kaddish or during the cantor's repetition or while they're reciting the blessing of Asher Yatzar. This is because there's some basis for lenience, right? But it's not the best. That's what he's saying. Okay, but we have to have the Kaddish is more important even than Berachot and other things as well. What about the entire Kaddish, or is it only until Amen Yesh Merabah? Ma kara po? Aywa. So he says, Yalkut Yosef brings down the Haim Moshe, brought down in Mishnah Lachot, the Dutz of Mishnah Berurah, the entire issue here is to respond to Amen Yesh Merabah properly. Therefore, you could wrap it up at the remainder of the Kaddish, meaning after you already answered Amen Yesh Merabah, the rest of it is less. This does not appear to be the case, however. The Mishnah Berurah cited the Pri Chadash, ruling that we must give full attention to the entire Kaddish. Okay? This is not necessarily a contradiction. And the halacha regarding taking off and wrapping the tefillin, the Mishnah Berurah deals with the extra Kaddish prayers, right, tacked onto the end of the Shachrit. For that this is the time that people won't take off their tefillin. Yeah, so he says, well, those prayers are being recited. It's necessary to stop and concentrate only while responding to Amen Yesh Merabah, but not while the others are reciting the balance of the Kaddish. In Siman 56, however, the subject is the Kaddish. The prayer is essential to Shachrit. There as Kaddish before Barechu or Titkabal. So therefore he comes and he says those, right, they're much more powerful. That's why it applies to the entire Kaddish. Nevertheless, it should be permissible to take off one's tefillin, right, after the first half of the Kaddish of Titkabal. Okay, fine. Halacha 79. Ain tet. Yeah. Ameniach tefillin shel Rabbeinu Tam. Somebody that's going to put on tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam. So he says, En lo lanicham be'emtza Hazarat Hashatz. You're not allowed to put them on during Hazarat Hashatz. Ela yanichem achar hachazara lifnei asher uva leTzion. You should take them. You should come and put them on after Hazarat Hashatz, before asher uva leTzion. V'yom sheni v'chamishi kodem kriyat Torah, or on Monday and Thursday before kriyat Torah. וכל זה כשכל הציבור ממתין יחד להניחת תפילין, אבל יחיד המתפלל להם הציבור, ואם יפסיק קודם אשרי כדי להניח על התפילין רבנותם, יפסיק בכך אמירת קדושת טובה לציון עם הציבור, ימתין להניח התפילין דרבנותם אחר התפילה. הלכה למעשה. Meaning, if right now you're in a tzibur that they're going to wait, right? So for example, in the tzibur of Avadia, they used to wait. So if they wait, so then you're right, you put them on right before Asher Uva Letzion. But if they don't wait, and therefore they go, right? And therefore now, which one?
They fly.
Right? And therefore what's going to happen is that you're going to miss out on the Kiddushat of Uva Letzion. Better to put it on at the end of the tefillah.
You have to repeat Uva Letzion?
No. Okay, that's what's brought down in the Yalkut Yosef. Yeah? Yalkut Yosef. That's what I just said right now. Yeah, you don't have to go back. What? It's the Yalkut Yosef. It's not me. Tell him to argue on the Yalkut Yosef. Tell him to argue on the Yalkut Yosef. ואם השץ ממתין בין תפילין, תפילת לחש שחזרה ויש שאול להניחם בינתיים קודם שיפסיק השץ, להתחיל בחזרה, אשר להניחם בלחש שחזרה, וטוב ללמוד בתפילין דרבנו תם אחר התפילה, כגון חוק לישראל וכיוצא בזה. It's good to learn with the תפילין דרבנו תם after the tefillah, for example, חוק לישראל, or other things like this. So let's see. Number 102. 102. So, putting on the tefillin during the Hazarat Hashatz. Maran Rishon LeTzion was asked whether it's permissible to put on tefillin Rabbeinu Tam during Hazarat Hashatz. He says it is forbidden for the following reasons. Yeah, this is Maran. Maran Rishon LeTzion. Are you listening? Maran Rishon LeTzion says it's forbidden. Number one, although it is permissible to respond to blessings, Kaddish or Kedusha in the middle of putting on the tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam, it is improper to purposely place oneself in a situation forcing one to interrupt himself. Meaning like this: if right now I'm putting on tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam, and I hear Kaddish in the middle, will I answer?
Yes.
Yes. Kedusha. Yes. Right? Amenim of berachot. Yes. So the question is, if right now, so what's the problem then? Why can't I put it on? Why can't I put it on then during Hazarat Hashatz? Says Rav Ovadia, because even though you're allowed to, you're putting yourself in a scenario of making hefsek. So you don't want to put yourself in a scenario of making hefsek. That's what's brought down. Number two, even if we would assume that it's permissible to respond to the blessings while putting on the tefillin Rabbeinu Tam, it's definitely sur to answer Baruch Hu Shemo. Meaning you're allowed to answer Amen, you're not allowed to answer Baruch Hu Shemo. Here you should answer Baruch Hu Shemo during Hazarat Hashatz. Number three, it's not possible to concentrate on putting on the tefillin Rabbeinu Tam and on the Hazarat Hashatz at the same time. Some people think that they multitask. They're not doing either one or the other right. Right? Meaning they come into a shiur, they start with the phone. You think they're paying attention? It's either not paying attention to the phone or they're not paying attention. Tafasta mruba or tafasta. Yeah, tafasta. Yeah, that's his famous dictum. Right? Ronen learned that once in his lifetime and that's it. For the rest of his life, he got caught with it. Yeah? So what happens? A person has to realize that it's impossible. He won't be paying attention to both. Okay? So the same thing, also to the box. You know, some people, they come around with the tzedakah box during Hazarat Hashatz. It's incorrect. He says, but they can't be paying attention. You understand? It's impossible. You're right. You're not supposed to. Do you know that they used to go around? There was a machala that they used to go around even during Kriyat Shema, Berachot Kriyat Shema, and everything. Rav Eliyashi came out with a big psak and they started putting it up in all the shtibelach. From already Yotzer until after Amidah, after Hazarat Hashatz, no meshulachim could come in. So I was in a shtibel in Eretz Yisrael, right? And mamash, it was incredible. Right? Once in a while, you had one guy that didn't pay attention. He would come inside. Yeah, it was some Berash. But even without that. You know? And they take one and that's it. Yeah, that's true. I used to do that also as well. 100%. 100%. Yeah, they already know. They take one and that's it. Okay. Moreover, the Kaf HaChaim ruled that it is forbidden to pinch off to take a pinch of snuff during Hazarat Hashatz. They come and they start taking their, they're practicing. So he says, although the Taharat HaMayim ruled leniently in this manner, he says even he would agree that one must not put on tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam at that time, since one must concentrate fulfilling the mitzvah of tefillin while putting them on. Right? So okay, what about now after the cantor's repetition before Ashrei? So he says, right, the Pri Megadim says, some people have intervened, right? They invented a new practice. Yeah, new practice. Taking the tefillin off of Rashi right after the Kiddusha of the Hazarat Hashatz and putting on Rabbeinu Tam. This is incorrect. And it is counter the halacha stated in Shulchan Aruch Siman Kafei Sif Yud Gimel that we do not take off the tefillin until after Kiddusha V'Valet Zion. Furthermore, during the cantor's repetition, one must concentrate on listening to the Hazarat Hashatz. So what are you doing? Maran Rishon LeZion defended these people from the Pri Megadim's first complaints. Although it is true that we must not take off our tefillin until after V'Valet Zion, these people are only taking off one pair to put on another pair. So it turns out that they are wearing a pair of tefillin during Kiddusha with tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam. Meaning Rav Ovadia wanted to say, you're not allowed just to stop take off the tefillin. But if you're taking one off and you're going to put on another one and you're going to have another pair of tefillin on, so then it's okay. That's the shit of Rav Ovadia. No, not during Hazarat Hashatz, but for the Kiddusha V'Valet Zion. So he says, therefore, if a person is quick enough to manage to put on tefillin Rabbeinu Tam before he begins the repetition of the Amidah, let's say, for example, right? Exactly. No. But here, let's say, for example, you finished your quiet Amidah and you have a few minutes before the Chazarah. So now you want to take them off and put on Rabbeinu Tam. You're allowed to. That's what we say. You're allowed to. Yeah. In fact, this is the ruling of the response of Zichron Yehuda Greenwald. Moreover, someone who has a practice changing the Tefillin Rabbeinu Tam before Ashrei actually gains that he recites at least one Kiddusha with Rabbeinu Tam. And the Shivchei Chatam Sofer, it's actually recorded that Moshe Sofer was a custom think of tefillin and Rashi putting on tefillin before he said Uvalet Zion. It appears, however, that this was not his regular practice, but this was a one-time occurrence in unusual circumstances. The Torah Chaim also declared that the custom of Sephardic Jews was to recite the Kiddusha of Zion were wearing tefillin and Rabbeinu Tam, but that they did not take off the tefillin of Rashi until after the Kiddusha, right, of the repetition of the Amidah. This does not mean that they took them off during the Hazarat Hashatz, because that would be prohibited. So, right, so he says the Pri Megadim Shabra did not agree to the idea that one may combine the one time of the words tefillin of Rashi with the time that one wears tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam, but one must have a total number of Kaddish and Kedusha prayers while wearing the tefillin of Rashi. It is clear that according to the Ota Chaim, he says one may combine them. Therefore, the Rishon LeZion concluded that if someone is pressed for time, right, because he needs to leave to work or whatever it is, and he's not going to have the opportunity to put on Rabbeinu Tam after Shachrit, he may put them on right before the Kiddusha V'Valet Zion, and on Monday and Thursdays right before the Torah reading. And alternatively, if the cantor of the congregation takes more time, so then he could put it on right after the silent Amidah. Okay? What about taking off tefillin during the cantor's tefillah? Okay? So he says, Maran Rishon LeZion on the side of the Pri Megadim, that in those communities where the custom is to wear tefillin during the Chol HaMoed, the congregation should take off the tefillin immediately after the Kiddusha of the Hazarat Hashatz. Maran Rishon LeZion deduce that the act of taking off the tefillin is much less concentration than putting them on. The Ashkenazim, they have a minhag, some of them, not all of them, they have a minhag of putting on tefillin on the Chol HaMoed. So he says that taking off the tefillin is better than putting on tefillin. Because taking off, you don't need as much concentration when you take something off. When you're putting it on, it's something completely, right, different.